Welcome into the Beat Sessions. I am your host, Mitchell Weary. We're talking about the brand new record from Barenaked Ladies entitled Detour de Force, which they released on July 16th. That's a cool album cover. I really dig that. This is their 13th studio album. It is their follow-up to 2017's Fake Nudes. And this album, this band, this is the reason I started this channel. I don't know if I would have otherwise listened to this record if I wasn't going to review it. And that's a shame because this record is pretty darn good. I was very impressed with it. Barenaked Ladies, one of those bands that was very much a part of the zeitgeist in the late 90s, 2000s, when I was going through high school and college. A band that I always enjoyed listening to when friends or anybody put them on for that matter, but they're not one that I ever chose to really dig into that deep with. And it's kind of a shame. I'm probably going to go back and check out a lot of their back catalog after listening to this record, because what I will say is that what I've heard of them in the past, they are great songwriters, great vocal melodies, and lyrical hooks. I mean, these guys, whether it's Ed Robertson kind of doing his little like hip hop inspired thing, rhyming, or just, everything that's going on with the harmonies that they develop, these guys really know how to nail the hook and melody combo. Kudos to them for that, because it's on full display on this record still. It's something that I don't think will ever go away. Even with the departure of founding member Stephen Page in '09, kind of one of those moments where they could have thrown in the towel, but thankfully they didn't. They've made 6 records ever since then. A lot of success with the title song and the Big Bang Theory in the last decade, as popular as that show has become. So it's really cool to still have these guys around. And I'm loving the just more sophisticated sound that this record has. Lyrically, in the past, where they may have been like kind of quirky and funny, and there's a lot of wit here. That hasn't, disappeared at all. But their sense of humor, I think, is more sardonic. I think it's appropriate, giving just growing up and maturing and the state of the world right now. It's tough to not, be a little brutally honest, even when you're trying to look at things with a positive perspective, which they do for the most part as well. It's always something that I've dug about the band. I think most people dig their positive outlook, this kind of like bright sheen that the band has, even when tackling difficult subject matter. It's a perspective thing. Life throws us very difficult scenarios sometimes. And even then, it's about, being thankful for the good things that you've had and persevering and hopefully getting through these tough scenarios, getting on the opposite side of those and finding those happy times. Lead single Flip kind of taps into that. Verse is driven by this really bouncy, funky piano. I absolutely love it. Great rhythm, big soaring chorus, lots of that on this record. I love the lyric, "It comes to pass, doesn't come to stay." It's just, that's the kind of stuff that, it's kind of brutally honest. It is a little dark if you wanted to go there with it, but I love the honesty of it. I think it's about appreciating, the times when you're in the moment, those memories that you're creating now, in the present. Love that song, love that lyric for that reason. New Disaster is a third track on the record. Awesome riff, slowly builds. It's got this kind of like odd cynicism that you start to see him play there lyrically, but it works in with their humor that I'm loving. Good Life is a great song, loving that. Big Backyard, 4th track on this record. Great vocal harmony to open up with, and then it's followed by this really like kind of breezy acoustic. And there's a lot of that on this record. It's this like 70s California rock mixed with, this folk rock style as well. I mean, think Fleetwood Mac, think the Eagles. But, they're also mixing it up with some jazz, some funk. There's some bossa nova influence on this record as it moves towards the back end of it. Live Well, great song. It's got this Eagles feel, great slow jam. The lyric, "'Cause I'm alive, doesn't mean I've lived well, just means I've gotten back up every time that I fell." And the song goes on to really kind of explore I guess the nature of our humanity in learning to grow and developing knowledge simply in making mistakes and screwing up. It is kind of like the one tragic flaw that all of us have, I guess. And depending on how you want to look at that, you can, again, it's all a matter of perspective. But I love how they kind of like leave the lyrics a little open-ended for interpretation on that song. It's really well written, well done. Dig the song Roll Out. It's just this great rockin' song. It's got this cool horn arrangement. It's kind of got a bit of a ska feel. And then God Forbid is this lovely ballad as we get towards the end of the album. And this thing closes out with Internal Dynamo, probably one of the cooler songs that I've heard in 2021, I might argue. Just really like the way, they're varying the song structure, and the elements, the musical elements that are there are really fascinating and very fun and a little out of character, I feel like, when you consider a lot of their body of work. So great way to end that record. My one criticism, I would say this thing is 14 songs at almost an hour of runtime. It's 56 minutes. If I had to make the criticism, I'd say get rid of Bylaw, Paul Chambers, and Man-Made Lake, and especially like because Internal Dynamo is just such a cool track, and I think this album kind of lingers towards the end. As good as those songs that I mentioned are, because they really are good, as far as the album process, that can be kind of a difficult thing. I personally would have maybe just axed those 3 tracks, locked this thing up in 45 minutes. It would have been a tighter, more cohesive effort, I think, in that regard. But kudos to Barenaked Ladies for this record. This is a vinyl please. I am just very impressed with, again, the maturity of their songwriting and how much they continue to grow as a band. And stylistically, this album is great. I really dig what's going on here. So hope you enjoy listening to this. Hope you find this review helpful as well. Please like this review, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and check out the live show. It returns back on September 12th. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time in the Beat Sessions.